Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm really craving a fantasy, an epic fantasy, a good old fantasy book which I haven't read for a long time. Fantasy is like that, there's always another sequel, another prequel. Fantasy books are really standalone, except one which is super popular and everybody loves this book. Of course, I'm talking about Sword of Kaigen by Emil Wang. This is a standalone Eastern inspired fantasy book. It's a self-published book. So this book, if you don't know, is available on Kindle Unlimited. I specially bought Kindle Unlimited to read Sword of Kaigen. I have really high expectation. I hope it lives up to it. Let's see how this goes. It's been a week. I haven't updated anything because I've been reading this book, The Sword of Kaigen. I have read a lot. I have read around 300 pages. I'm in chapter 16, The Soul. Got a lot to talk about. First of all, it's amazing, loving it. Let me give you a synopsis of what the book is about. Sword of Kaigen is based on Eastern mythology and very Japanese or Chinese inspired. The world is in the planet of Duna. So this book throws you into the plot, into the thick of it, right from the start. And there are a lot of words which you don't understand, but it's not as overwhelming as something like Priority of Orange Tree was, which I couldn't get into that book. I read 100 pages and still was confused of what the names and everything was. But this book also has that same, but you kind of understand because the world is very familiar. Because if you like Avatar, The Last Airbender, it's pretty much the same world. It's very element. There are nations with different elements. The main characters of this book is Mamoru and Misaki, which are Misaki is Mamoru's mother, and they are from the family of Jijakalu. They use ice. They live in a mountain of Kaigen. It is the front mountain, which behind that all the whole country is, and they are the first line of defense. So they are a group of warriors called Jijakalu, and they use something called Jia, which is spirit or chakra or something, to turn the water molecules into ice crystals and or snow and use it. Very cool. We all know it, but it's used in a very believable way of how they use snow to soften their impacts when they're jumping high, or they freeze the water in their feet to climb up walls. So it's really cool. So there's a country of Kaigen. There's also Ranganese and Yamanese. Yamanese and Kaigen are allies, and Ranganese are the bad people, as we have been told. So it involves a lot of 1984-esque, the government is lying to you. They are using a cannon fodder. So there's a lot of that going on. In the first half of the book, I have read around half of the book. It's 600 pages, and we follow Misaki, which is Mamoru's mother. Okay, so Misaki is a mother of 4 children, and I love her. Misaki is, I think, the best character in this book. She is such a strong but very fleshed out, and Mamoru is understanding the whole world, shattering the expectations. There are a lot of sexism in this book. It's a commentary, so it's not a bad thing that it's in the book, because they talk about it it's supposed to be a bad thing. I want to say, because Misaki is a badass and I love her, and I want her to kick ass. She's a very cool character. And Mamoru, the main thing is that follow Mamoru, and in the first chapter, it's not a spoiler, Mamoru meets up with this new kid, and the new kid explains to Mamoru that what you have been told is wrong, and your country is not as strong as it believed to be. We could be attacked at any time. And Mamoru tries so hard to understand that in a place where women aren't supposed to fight and stuff. Misaki is the only one who can fight, because she learned that in her past. She teaches Mamoru secretly about good techniques of blood clotting, and fighting with weapons, of how you can sneak up on enemies, and it's really cool. So the plot is Mamoru is trying to become a warrior, and Misaki is trying to protect her family from these people who are Ranganese. And so this Ranganese people can use They're called Fonyakalos. Like Jijakalu, they can use wind. So it's basically wind versus ice is going on, and it's really cool. There are a lot of cool powers. The main thing I love about this book is the characters. I've been yapping a lot, as you can tell, so it just tells you that how much I love this book, how much I love the characters of this book. Small nitpick would be that the character like thinking or thought process of like development of like how like one day Misaki suddenly realizes that his biggest kid Mamoru is more than a kid to her, like tries to be a motherly figure and protect him. Before that she just thought that, oh, I was came here in this family to give kids, so I'm gonna make more kids. Like she didn't thought of her kid like in a protective way, and she certainly does. But other than that, Sword of Kaigen is being so good. We are getting more character development. I love Misaki the most, so that's all my raving about Sword of Kaigen. It's definitely good, like as everyone told me. It's even better. I'm gonna keep on reading. I'm halfway through. Gonna continue the awesome story, and see you later. Okay, so I just read the chapter 20, A Sword of Kaigen, and without spoiling anything, it's traumatic. It's, oh my god, the amount of like straight up effortless tears that have come out of my eyes from reading chapter 20 of Sword of Kaigen is unbelievable. Don't want to spoil anything, but wow, this chapter alone made me like, oh god, it was a 4.5 out of 5 for me. For that chapter alone, I'm just gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Like, I don't even care to continue forward. I really want to talk about it, but like that like whole build up. Okay, so without spoiling anything, I just want to say that the way how this book like attaches like characters to you, it's so like, you know, it felt so real. Like everything like starts happening, and then you get to the like end of it, and like I'm struggling with my words. The Sword of Kaigen is I get it why it's so good, and and like no character should, even a fictional character, should have to go through like what happened in chapter 20. It's just I'm really struggling with spoilers here. You know, crying at 1 a.m. it's kind of a vibe. it's kind of a vibe, and like I'm like really hurt right now, but I love it. So it's just so heartbreaking. Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna continue. I probably will finish this because I am like addicted to it right now. I read the last portion of The Sword of Kaigen. I finished reading it since one day, and I'm ready to give my final thoughts about the book. This book really grown on me. The characters, especially Misaki, all the other characters have like felt so real and like felt so emotional and painful to read some of the chapters, because a lot happens. The final thoughts is that the book is good. The book is so good. One of the most unique fantasy I have ever read. I'm done with Sword of Kaigen. My final rating would be 5 out of 5. Like, I don't want to change anything about the book. I think it ended very satisfyingly. On a little bit of bittersweet note, there may be a possibility of a sequel. I don't know. Like, we may get a sequel about like other characters in the book. I think Misaki's story is probably fully wrapped up, and so yeah, if we get a sequel, I'll be probably very excited, and you will probably hear from it about me. Sword of Kaigen was around 612 pages, so it was a big book. It took me like a month or like a 15 days to read it. I read it slowly because I was preoccupied by Elden Ring for the whole month. Still kind of am. I want to read more fantasy books. I am craving more big fantasy books, but I'm also craving a romance. So it makes perfect sense to continue this fantasy romance series, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury, the second book in the Court of Thorns and Roses Echotar series. So this would be Echo Math. I like the shorter name. Like, they should just remove all this and just make it Echo Math or Echotar. Probably easier to say, and it sounds good. So I don't remember a lot of what happened in the first book. Jumping from a 600 book to it's around 620 to like a same length of book, probably even bigger book. Excited to read it, and yeah, I just want a good fun time, a good fun fantastical time with some romance in it. I have very high expectation that this book would be good. It's probably considered the best book in the series. This book is kind of big and my hand kind of hurts telling you about, so gonna read it on my Kindle. Got it already loaded on my Kindle. So yeah, this vlog has turned into, I was just thinking of like reading Sword of Kaigen, continuing just whatever I want to read. Fantasy book vlog. I'm probably gonna read one more because 3 books sounds nice. 3 is like a nice balanced thing. Like a lot of video games, you have to do something 3 times to have like an interaction or something. 3 times is a charm, I think, or it's a bad luck, I don't know. But yeah, three books is like a good balance. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading Echotar. Hey everyone, so I haven't been updating a lot. New semester has started and I'm very tired coming home from uni, and it's been almost a week since I have updated about anything. Before that, I want to talk about, so last week I watched 2 movies, Mulholland Drive and Mean Girls. Both were fantastic movie. Both are both are not the movie you should watch together, but I watched them in consecutively because they are mentioned in Naked in Manhattan by Chappell Roan, and I'm a big fan of hers. It's like very rare that it happens that I go out of my way to watch movie mentioned or like referenced in a song or in like other movie or something. It's very rare, and I did it, and both movies were great. I never would have thought that I would watch Mean Girls. I was the older one. There's a new one which I don't like. The old one was good. I haven't seen the new one. And Mulholland Drive was awesome. Like I always wanted to watch Mulholland Drive because of like Twin Peaks and the similar vibes, similar soundtrack, and yeah, I love Mulholland Drive so much. It's like trippy, and like once you understand the movie, like I really want to rewatch it, like after I watched the movie and like understood what it was about, like I really want to rewatch it. So since then, and I have been reading A Court of Mist and Fury. I am almost halfway through it and enjoying it. So this book has a lot of expectation from me because it's one of the highest rated in Goodreads. It is hyped up by a lot of fans of A Court of Thorns and Roses, the whole series. that this is like one of the best in the series. So far those hopes hasn't been met. I am still enjoying it. Like it is a good book. One of the reason it's a good book because it has one of my favorite tropes in it. We'll come to that, but let's like start from the beginning. So I have read up to like chapter 35, like 50, more than 50% through it, and yeah, so this book starts off pretty okay. We get a bit of recap of what happened in the first book, repercussions of like how Farah like is handling everything has happened. There's a lot of like portrayal or like talk about like how much that trial and everything has affected Farah, everyone around her. I like those topics being mentioned, but those topics aren't being very like deeply like explored in this book. It took me some time, but I got into a rhythm of everything happening. First 200 pages of this book were set up, and after I got like what is the setup of what's gonna happen, I was enjoying the ride more and more. In the first book, without spoiling a lot, Farah, the main character of the book, ultimately triumphed over the main big bad villain, and now villain boss who is trying to plan a war against this whole fake kingdom. Farah and some of her allies are trying to stop the war and save the war and save all the people. So mild spoilers, but my favorite trope in like a lot of fantasy books, mostly in fantasy books, is like treasure hunting. Like you need to find this really important things, but you don't know where you're gonna get it and like what's gonna happen when you get it and like where it is, right? So that is like one of my favorite tropes. I love that in the final book in the Harry Potter series. Finding all the Horcruxes was like one of my favorite like part. Like, so this is what is like happening in this. Still don't know if it's worth it to read it because I haven't gotten any like proper conclusion yet. Like I have more than half of the book left. This is gonna sound bad. Think I like those scenes in the book. I'm embarrassed to say, sorry, but I like those scenes. It's just fun. Okay, it's just fun. On the topic, I'm liking the plot. I wanna continue it. It's very easy to read. Like the writing style is very accessible. So really enjoying it. That was all the update. I will get back to reading this. And also I have a movie that I'm going to watch tomorrow. It came out like 2 days ago, and this movie shouldn't have come out right now because it's like a winter Christmassy movie. I'm talking about Spy Family Code White, which is, I love Spy Family. It's one of my comfort shows out there, and I watch the hell out of the first 2 seasons and really excited for the third one. And yeah, I get to watch this movie tomorrow. I waited so long for it to be released here, and it's finally happening. Tomorrow is going to be so much fun because yeah, I know it's going to be fun. Like everyone will be there, Anya will be there, Yor and Lloyd, everyone. It's just, I love them. It's such a fun show, and yeah, I hope they make more movies and more seasons because I love the manga, I love the show and everything involving Spy Family. Hi everyone, so I'm back from the movie theater. I have watched Spy Family, the movie, and I have to say the movie was so much funnier than the actual series. Actually, it was very like cliche of like spy movies, but they did some things which are different. They changed it up a little bit, and yeah, it was very funny. The plot was all over the place, but I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed your and like everyone spent time together. A problem with the main series that sometimes the your gets like shoved off the screen, and like we don't see a lot of things from your. But this time we saw all from Anya, from Lloyd, from your, and everyone. And yeah, it was a fun time. I will give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. What happens that the show ended at a perfect time, and I wanted to stay in the movie theater for longer, so I bought a ticket for another movie, and I watched Twister, which was the new disaster movie which was released. So Twister, I think I watched the original one when I was a little kid, so I liked my disaster movie back then. I wasn't planning to see this movie, it was just that the time and the show aligned. I watched that, and I've been back, so I watched 2 movies today, back to back on a movie theater, so I spent most of the time there. Between then I did read my audiobook of A Court of Mist and Fury. Twister was like a surprising, it was a very good action disaster movie. I liked it was very well shot. The tornado looks very realistic. I have never seen a tornado with my real life, but I could imagine like it was very fun. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was a good movie. I had low expectation. I wasn't even planning on watching that, so I was well surprised. Speaking of A Court of Mist and Fury, I read for like 40 minutes, so I'm in like chapter 38 now, and I have like 6-7 hours left. So I am definitely gonna push myself to finish this book, because I've been reading this book for so long, and I need to start another book. Please, future me, finish this book. I have been reading this book for so long. Like, I like it, but I've been reading this book for so long. So that was all the update, and I will see you soon. It's raining like crazy. Hey everyone, so it's not the next day. I haven't it took me 4 or 5 days, or like it took me like 3 days to finish the book A Court of Mist and Fury, the second book in the Akatar series. After finishing this book, I would say that the first one was way better than this one. My problem with this being that this is a 600-page book. This is a very big book, and the things that happen in the first book are way more like significant and way more engaging than the second book. It really felt dragged out. I enjoyed the start of 100 pages, and I enjoyed the last 100 pages, but the middle of it, like I don't think like a very big things happened. Like, I unfortunately am not really attached to the characters, but I like them. I don't hate them. I like the interaction between the characters, but like them as an individual, they're not very well explored, I think. And what I wanted from this book is more world building, more like getting in to know the world, but we didn't got all of that. There were some bits, but like, you know, the world didn't feel as like imaginative as it felt in the first one, because first one was the entry to this whole universe, right? And it felt good to understand and know everything. But like this book felt like it just felt stale, I think. Kind of disappointed with this one, but unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, I'm in too deep into this series, so I have got to continue, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin. Third book, A Court of Wings and Ruin. Probably not anytime soon. It feels like at the end of the book, it feels like we are back in the circle of everything that happened in the first book, and after the end of the book, it feels like we are still there. Like nothing really happened. I didn't really love the plot. I didn't really like the progress of like what happened in this book. So that is my like biggest disappointment. If this is the best the series can offer, then I do not have a very high expectation for this book. But I'm into deep. I have to continue, like, because you know I've read the second book, might as well read the third book and finish the trilogy. I think the other two books are like standalone, or like you don't need to read them. I gave A Code of Mist and Fury a 2 stars. On to the next book which I wanna read. Well, it's so I've been reading like big fantasy book. I'm kind of feeling a slump of like big books right now. So I want to some novella done, which is the Arcanum Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson. This is like a collection of all the short stories and like graphic novel and some novella in the Cosmere universe. So this is so I'm gonna read the Edge Dancer, which is the novella you need to read after reading Words of Radiance and before reading Oathbringer. So it's like a bridge novella. So I'm gonna do that to slowly catch up with Stormlight Archive for the fifth book. So yeah, this won't take a long. It's like the audiobook is like 6 hours. It will take more like 4 or 5 hours. Hey everyone, so before I start say anything, I like 2 days ago I got the news that one of my favorite book is being turned into a movie, and I am so happy for it. The book I'm talking about is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I love this book. It was such a imaginative book that I like, even in my blog I said it, that this book would work so good as a movie, and it's been turned into a movie by, I don't know the name of the studio, but it's been turned into a movie by the people who made Kubo and the Two Strings and Coraline, which that's great. They have good track record. And yeah, Kubo was really good. I watched it like when it came out. I don't remember anything about it, but I think that's a good studio for this book. You know, I thought that something like Ghibli or like Miyazaki making Piranesi would be like the perfect match, I think. But this is also a good match. Like, of course, Miyazaki is not like, that's a very wishful thinking, like something like that. But I'm so excited for this to be into a movie. Cannot wait. Gonna keep my eye on it all the time. Like, yeah, it's so cool. Like, this is such a good book to be turned into a movie. I'm so happy. Thanks movie industry. Thanks animated movie. I love animated movie. I think it's a perfect medium for this book, so it's a win-win. With that out of the way, let's talk about the final book that I finished, which is a part of collection of Arcanum Unbounded. That is the Edge Dancer. No, Edge Dancer or Edge Runners. No, that's Cyberpunk. This is Edge Dancer. I liked it. I liked Edge Dancer. It's like a bridge novella between you read between Words of Radiance and Oathbringer of Stormlight series. So it works as a good bridge novella, I think. Like, we get a lot of all the repercussion or the reaction that happened in the second book was interesting. So we follow Lift, who is like who can like surf, and like she's very slippery, and she's also like one of the like people who has superpowers in this world. And so Lift is like a sea urchin. Like she likes to like eat food and steal stuff. So it reminded me a lot about Mistborn, because you know, being in this city and being like a little sea urchin, a thief, it gave me very Mistborn vibes. So I really liked that. So I liked Lift as a character, but I don't think that I can handle Lift like naiveness and like Lift like that type of humor which is in this novella. I think it would get very boring if I have to read like 1,000 pages of it through like Lift's points of view, because in the postscript Brandon Sanderson does say that Lift is his favorite character, which is I guess it's cool. The novella was pretty okay. Everything was okay. I liked the introduction of Darkness or Nail. That is a interesting character. I'm sure we're gonna see more of Nail and Liv in continuation, and it was a solid 3 out of 5 star novella for me. So we are at the end of this vlog. This vlog has been going on for like almost like 1.5 months. So let's do a little small recap of everything I have read. So I read the first book, which was The Sword of Kaigen by Emil Bong. I read it at my Kindle, and yeah, this was a pure solid masterpiece, 5 out of 5 stars. I've got no complaints. As the time has passed, everything, the story, the characters have set like a solid space in my mind. Like, I think they are great. I love Misaki. I miss her. Like, I wish we would get like more of her story, or like more story from this world. I think there are other novellas in this same universe, but maybe they're not as good or not as well popular. I think in the book, I haven't heard a lot about them. So Sword of Kaigen was brilliant. It was a little unique of a fantasy book that I read, because I think it was self-published. Character development and, you know, a lot of like dark things happening which I didn't saw coming. Like, it's very depressing. This book is very gore heavy and depressing. I implore you, if you will love it, just be careful the trigger warning, because there's a lot of like loss and grief and stuff like that. So yeah, Sword of Kaigen, 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. This was the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. This is the highest rated book in that series on Goodreads, and I think that's not good, because I liked the first book way more than this one. This book could have been shorter. I think much more things happen in the first book than this book. So I give it a disappointing 2 out of 5 stars. But still, I'm gonna continue, because 2 books. And the final book, as I talked about, was the Edge Dancer. Yeah, so these are the 3 books that I read for this vlog. All of them were fantasy. 2 of them were very big. 2 of them were 600 pages plus, and one was a little short novella that cleansed my palate. So that was it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the vlog. Please like the video and comment. I really appreciate you telling me more about what videos should I make, or recommending me stuff and everything. Bye.